And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome to Benchley Night. It is Sunday. It is February 2nd. The groundhog saw his shadow today and went hastening back to his little hole. And that groundhog is no fool, ladies and gentlemen. That groundhog is no fool. If I had just woken up from a long winter's nap and saw what is going on right now, I too would hasten back to my comfortable little hidey hole for, I'm thinking it's going to be 16 years of this. It seems to me repressive regimes last for about 16 years. So that'll take me up to my early 80s, which I'll be ready for some regime change by the early 80s. I'll be ready for some regime change a lot before that. I'm ready for some regime change right about now. But we won't be too political. We won't be too political, ladies and gentlemen. Because this is the chance we all have to put aside the cares of the world and enjoy early 20th century humor by the great Robert Benchley. Now, you all know that I normally wear this hat, which drives some people crazy, but I'm not wearing it tonight. I'm wearing this hat. This is our brand new Miss Bellows Falls Diner hat. Don't you want one of these? Of course you do, ladies and gentlemen. Of course you do. Don't you want to support the Miss Bellows Falls restoration? Of course you do. Of course you do. Just go to MissBellowsFalls.com. Here comes another one. Go to MissBellowsFalls.com and get yourself one of these beautiful buffalo plaid Miss Bellows Falls diner caps. They are so comfortable you can't stop wearing it, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot stop wearing it. And all proceeds go toward restoring the Miss Bellows Falls Diner. All right, we'll shut that off now because that could get kind of annoying after about 25 minutes. All right. So, hi, Terry. Hi, Terry Hudson. Terry Hudson is with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Terry Hudson just had a hip replacement. And she was in the hospital and she complimented, I think she felt very good about the chicken salad that they served. Now, if you can bring yourself to feel good about chicken salad in the hospital, that shows you have the right attitude. And Terry Hudson exemplifies having the correct attitude. Now, as I said, let us put the cares of the world aside. We'll take the cares of the world and we'll put them over here. Now, last week, you may remember that our good friend Charbonneau wanted to participate and ended up knocking over my beer onto the keyboard. But I was able to shut the keyboard off as soon as I got off the live stream, wipe it down, spray it down, and it still functions. And Charbonneau got extra snacks because of that. And tonight I have put my beer inside of the roll of tape because that prevents small, expressive cats from knocking over the beer. And Charbonneau, though, it right now actually is asleep right over by wood stove because wood stove on a night when it's like 5 degrees out, wood stove is nice. Wood stove is nice. Anyway, 2 Robert Benchley readings, and I'm thrilled that you're all here. Thank you for being part of this. Sheep dipping. I am not against experimentation on animals, so long as it does not hurt the animals personally. I'm going to wear the Bellows Falls Diner cap, ladies and gentlemen, just so you'll see how fashionable it is. In fact, several times I have myself looked straight into the eye of a Sealingham Terrier and whispered, "You're a beaver," in a hoarse tone, just to see how that terrier would react. He didn't. But I am confused by the experiments which they have been conducting on sheep up at Cornell. To begin with, I'm confused by sheep. They seem to be people from another world, more or less. I can find nothing in common with them when we are thrown together. We just don't seem to click, sheep and I. But I do think that the Cornell people are getting a bit too far with their sheep. They're feeding them, quote unquote, cortin, or the hormone, they explain, made by the adrenal glands to make them more, quote unquote, skillful. Just what a, quote unquote, skillful sheep does that an unskillful sheep could not do is not clear. But listen to the experiment. Quote, at the sound of an electric buzzer, the sheep will lift its foreleg with the same motion that they would use at the touch of a live electric wire. This gives some of the sheep nervous breakdowns. Cortin restores their nerves, much as it helps human beings with bad nerves. But it also smooths out the leg lifting troubles of the nervous sheep. When given to sheep with no nerve difficulties, it likewise makes them more quickly adapt at the leg lifting habit. End quote. I quote from an AP dispatch from Ithaca, New York, in case you think I am just trying to be funny. Let us leave out the discussion. Let us leave out the discussion of the question of a sheep having a nervous breakdown. We all have our troubles, and I see no reason for prying into those of a particular neurotic sheep. I am, however, relieved that most of the sheep that I know, at least, are made of sterner stuff. A nervous breakdown in any group whatsoever is no fun. What I am worried about, though, is the, quote, leg lifting habit, end quote. The doctors speak of this as if it were a desideratum. Quote, at the sound of an electric buzzer, end quote, the sheep, quote, without nerves, end quote, lift their forelegs more quickly with the aid of cortin than without it. Well, then what? Once the foreleg is up, what follows? A pavan? A Roomba? Does cortin help them go on from there? Of course, I know that all these experiments with sheep are not designed to help the sheep themselves, but rather to aid in the study of the human nervous system. But I still want to know what the advantage is in getting your foreleg up quickly to the sound of an electric buzzer. That's the first reading tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's the first reading tonight. And I hope it has taken your mind off the ongoing horror that is America at this moment. And let's show the Miss Bellows Falls banner yet again. Go to MissBellowsFalls.com, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes one. Go to MissBellowsFalls.com and order yourself one of these beautiful buffalo plaid caps. Help restore the diner. Help restore the diner, ladies and gentlemen. We're counting on you. All right. Second reading tonight. Forgotten money. It is not generally known that many banks throughout the country are holding large sums of money unclaimed by their rightful owners. If it were, the money would not be unclaimed. Ever since I heard about this strange state of affairs, I have been cudgeling my brain. I have been cudgeling my brain to remember some bank account of mine which I might have forgotten. It would explain a lot of missing money that I have not got now. I know I did not spend it. There were several bank accounts of mine which the bank forgot, but none that I can recall offhand where I was the dreamy party. I have sometimes forgotten that I did not have a bank account, and I have drawn checks on which not even the date was valid. But try as I will, I cannot think of any bank to which I could go and say, "Oh, by the way, whatever became of that old balance I had here some years ago?" This, however, does not mean that the thing is not possible. I'm notoriously scatterbrained about money affairs. Just because I cannot remember what I have done with my money is no reason whatsoever that a bank should sit tight and say nothing about any sum of mine that may be eating its head off in their vaults. I cannot think of everything. The decent thing for any bank to do if it finds itself with some old account of mine that I have overlooked is to go and get in touch with me. I'm at home practically all day, every day, and the telephone is right by my bed. It would be my pleasure to put on some clothes and go down to the bank myself to see about it, if they would only let me know. I might not even wait to put on some clothes. I've never used passbooks in my banking, as the cashier has just usually said, "Oh, never mind about actually depositing this, Mr. Benchley. I'll just keep it in my pocket until you need it." Later on, I began carrying it in my own pocket until I needed it. As a result, I have no actual written evidence that I have money in any bank at all. But the more I read the article on forgotten bank accounts, the more I am convinced that that is the answer to my missing money. Somewhere in each of the cities that I have lived in, someone has a lot of money that has belonged to me. If the banks haven't got it, who has? Come on now, banks. Fess up. And this is a picture. This is a picture of Mr. Benchley at the bank with the bank hoity-toities in the background, remembering that he has a bank account when he has forgotten himself. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, those are our two readings for tonight. Now we can go back to worrying about the takeover of America by a bunch of assholes. And we have a bunch of people to thank. We have a bunch of people to thank because, ladies and gentlemen, my mailing list is now a Substack, and you can subscribe to a Substack. And if you subscribe to my Substack, once a month, I'm going to be offering a painting worth a lot of money, in theory, a couple $1,000s, to one buyer, the first buyer each month, who pays $400 or $500 for the painting. So our list of supporters has grown and grown and grown. And it is now time for me to thank them all. My arm is going to get very tired, ladies and gentlemen, because the unidentified unglet in the can is eager to give a shout out to every single person. Let's show the banner for the remainder of tonight. Why not? This is the credit sequence, ladies and gentlemen. This is the credit sequence. My friend Susan, she used to wait in movie credits until the staff accountant showed up on the screen because she was an accountant at that time. And then we could leave. But it took a long time. So We have a bunch of people to thank, ladies and gentlemen, who are the paid subscribers to our Substack, which is now raising over $5,000 a year for charity. And we appreciate that. And every painting that is sold, all the money from that painting sale will also go to charity. And if that's like 400, so that's like 8,000 a year, 9,000 plus 5,000, $14,000 a year to charity, ladies and gentlemen, $14,000 a year. And now we have to thank Mary Graham, Magic Starheart, Cece Danforth, Kay McDonough, Melinda Weingartner, Catherine Fisher, Susan McNeil, Sonia Jackson, Christina Stockman, Terry Widener, Bree Dodson, Elizabeth Schwartz, Lizzie Grosso, Adele Richart, Christy Marks, Kate Fry, John T. Wilhelm, Deborah Lovett, Jean Fry, James Gilbreth, Marlon Gibson, Ann Cousins, Carol Burning. I told you there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people to thank now, ladies and gentlemen. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Oh, where was I? Ann Cousins, I believe. Did I do Carol Burning? Helen Siksick, Nancy Radzik, MJ Brush, Cindy Baker, Nancy Bass, Rhea Bruns, Jeb Hart. He used to manage the Jay Giles band, ladies and gentlemen. He used to manage the Jay Giles band. You always want to stick around for the credit roll, don't you? All right, Busy Graham, Nancy Flanagan, Susan McCula. She's the one who used to wait for the accountant name to show up. Kathleen Bartlett, Sharon Allen, Sandy Like the Beach Daniel, Scott Jones, Susan Dalton, Jimmy Malley, Nancy T. Gardner Widenick, David Erlanger, Mike Steele, Bob Manning, Don Anderson. Getting down to the end, ladies and gentlemen, getting down to the end. Mr. Lincoln Payne, back at Exeter, ladies and gentlemen. Lincoln Payne, I and Bill Wood were the three students at Exeter who really loved passenger trains. And Lincoln has a great Substack himself, by the way. Lincoln Payne, Sue Kibbe, Martha Rowley in Saxons River, Vermont, and out there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he's talking sense into that appeasement collaborator, John Fetterman, out there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my very, 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 very tall cousin, Mr. Nat Hunter, his wonderful wife, Elise, and their little tiny, wee little dog, Ginger. Thank you all so very much. Keep the faith. Keep the faith. In 16 years, this will all be over. You take good care, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be a few weeks till the next Benchley night. I'm going to go off. I'm going to go down to Texas. I'm going to go down to Texas till the end of the month. Texas and then Santa Fe, New Mexico. And then I'll be back. God willing, and the creek don't rise. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.